Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Nigeria Now on Echo Television, where we look at various aspects, look at various sectors of the government, and then bring to the table some of the issues that we feel are important that we discuss, whether health, education, security, or even finance and business. So these and many others are what we normally discuss on the show. I am Sarah Elisha, and I'll bring the program alongside Rachel Tanzi. Good afternoon,
Good
Rachel.
afternoon, Sally.
All right, just before we move straight into some of the stories, we have a little headlight to just let you know, to keep you updated. We're seeing that ahead of the hunger protest already in Abuja, about 4,200 policemen have been deployed to the FCT. That is to make sure that everything is in order and that those who are planning to cause chaos are being brought to book. As well, we're seeing that the NNPC is actually starting recruitment of new staff. So if you are interested to work in the NNPC, you should go to their employment page and then do well to follow some of the guidelines on how you can apply, even though they are letting the public know that there have been a little traffic because a number of people are trying to access that page, but their technical men are working to make sure that everything is back to normal. So please do well to access it if you want to work there and there, because the closing date for the recruitment is 20th of August. So please do well to do that. Well, let's move into some of the things we love to discuss, where we're seeing that Tinubu have met with monarchs discussing the issue over protests. And we will record there have been series of meetings holding. We saw one that held yesterday between the ministers and the governors, trying to put their heads together to see what can be done. And as well, yesterday is when the president met together with traditional rulers, where we saw some pictures showing us that of the Sultan of Sokoto, and as well we also saw the monarch from Oyo State being present there. I mean, more like these are the monarchs or the leaders that are leading other traditional leaders, and they gave their own view what they felt about the protest. Of course, everybody is raising concern. Nobody is against the fact that, you know what, do not protest. In fact, even in Lagos State, the police operative there said, we are not saying you shouldn't protest, but we are against, you know, violence, chaos that might erupt during this protest. But I think it was really a wise decision the president took, getting these traditional leaders involved, because, you know, they have to go down to let people know, okay, this is what we're able to discuss with the president. This is some of the measures he have in place. He's trying to do this, he's trying to do that. So please be patient with him until he's able to achieve this and all of that. And you know, there is a way people look at traditional leaders. We know we are Africans, we're extremely religious and cultural. So we just give them this kind of respect because we feel maybe they are next to God, or however we a small g.
Yeah.
So sometimes people tend to listen more to their traditional leaders than even their political leaders. So I feel maybe that is the reason why the president, or not just feel, but I think that is the reason precisely why the president actually got these traditional leaders involved to talk to, you know, people concerning the upcoming protests.
And Sally, to also be the same reason to make Nigerians more aggravated. When you say the fact that he knows, right, that we have these traditional leaders, our royal fathers, these first class royal fathers precisely, and then you know the power they hold down to the grassroots level, because they are more closer to the community, whether we like it or not, by structure of our monarchical system and all of that. Now, Nigerians will raise questions and ask, why are you not calling them concerning insecurity and banditry? Why are you not calling them concerning the economic woes of the country? Why are you not having emergency meetings concerning what solution would you give me as our royal fathers concerning terrorism? Because knowing fully well that you are first class when it comes to different regions, because we saw the Oni of Ife, so we are looking at the southwest part of the country, we are looking at Sokoto, where we are looking at the north, and all of that. These figures, and we know how significant they are, most especially when it comes to the Emir of Sokoto. We can talk about that of the Oni and all of that. When you know that they are in strategic position, why are you not calling them, asking them questions about the economic policies that will best suit the masses in this country? Why are you not calling them in times like that? Why are you not calling them to say, I have put in certain policies, but I'm seeing it is not favorable and Nigerians are hungry. Tell me, what should I do? And the people would want to see you take their advice, but no, you've not done that. You've not called for meeting with these people, not until Nigerians say that they want to take on the street. And then all of a sudden, you know the importance of these royalties in dealing with the people. And this will aggravate Nigerians the more, Sele, because why are you calling for emergency meeting to stop Nigerians from lashing out rather than emergency meetings concerning the problems in the first place that are taking Nigerians to the street? And all of that is hypocritical on a lot of level coming from the president. You can see the fear from our government and all of that, because they are trying by all means, the government of Nigeria are trying by all means to stop these protests. And as far as I'm concerned, Sele, they are the biggest saboteur of the protests, not even the people who want to be out there. Because why are you so afraid of the people voicing out their concerns and their worries? And if you truly have them in mind, 6 months after putting down your policies, you call the royal fathers and say, what is it like for your people in your region? And what can I do differently as these policies, before they take into shape? What do you think I can do? It could have been long ago. And when these people with their vast knowledge and in-depth knowledge of their people tell you this is what you're supposed to do, you do it. And I don't think we would be in this position at the moment. So I just hope that it's not only for this kind of consultation doesn't stop here. We should see it when it comes to education. We should see it when it comes to insecurity. We should see it when it comes to food crisis and food insecurity and every other matter that affects Nigeria as a country.
Honestly, I believe there are people who share the same opinion with you, Rachel, with the fact that why didn't we see the government calling on these monarchs earlier before now? Of course, precisely for the Emir of Lagos, we will know that he has been talking, especially when it comes to the issue of insecurity and hunger in the north. He has tried his best to voice out and say, this is what the northerners over there are going through. This is how insecurity is taking different shifts. In fact, right now, they go to the marketplace in broad daylight and they are causing this chaos. For one, I know that he has been outspoken about things like this. And of course, it would be expected that the government should call him and say, okay, if this is what you've observed, what can we do? Because you are a first-class monarch. So when we are talking about other, even though I was expecting to also see maybe another leader coming from the south side or the southeast, but then I mean having these two, it's already enough. I mean to be able to voice out the minds of Nigerians and then to rub minds and see what can be done to actually, calm Nigerians down. But just like you said, we know the government know what to do, and just like you said, they are afraid. And I think that this fear is coming straight from what is happening in our neighboring country, just not far. I believe that it's from what is happening there that is making our leaders feel that we hope that this does not take this same shape again. I mean, we're already seeing even DJ Switch talking again. We know he was one of those people that led the 2020 hashtag #EndSARS protest, and he was also part of the people that they said they were supposed to pay compensation of 2 million to because of violation of human rights and all of that. So we are hoping that it won't just stop here. If you need to talk with our traditional leader, let it not be when you are in trouble, but even when the going is smooth. Call them in. Okay, how can we relate more? Do you feel that the primary health care is enough? Should we add more? You should be communicating together with the various senators and all of that, but we see sometimes they are just being pushed to the side, and I feel that okay, your role is just at a particular thing, and then they don't get them involved always. But then let's just hope that this whatever communication, whatever meeting and talks they were able to have, let us see the impact it will have, whether or not the protest will hold, and then the body language of Nigerians as well. Now, you made mention of saboteurs, and here we're seeing that the Senate is vowing to arrest and to actually bring to book those who have been behind vandalism of, especially in our oil sector. I think we've been talking about this. It's just that the stories keep taking different shapes, and then we are looking at this angle today, tomorrow we are looking at these and all of that. But we see they are vowed to arrest those who are behind all of this issue, and then we are seeing where the Minister of Finance is coming out to say how much we have lost concerning tackling the issue of oil theft. But I know you and I have talked about this, that the people who are actually behind it are not very far from within. Because we've mentioned the fact that we're talking about vandals, we're not talking about those who are going there with jerry cans. We're not talking about oil thieves in that manner. We're talking about oil thieves that leave the shores of Nigeria with vessels. We're talking about the reason why we're unable to meet our quotas. We're talking about the reason why we have refused to fix our refineries, maybe because we are benefiting initially from the subsidy. And then even right now, we're seeing that it just seems as if fuel subsidy has been removed technically, but physically we're still paying the fuel subsidy. That is what it feels like. So right now, I'm surprised it's just not the Senate, even though they tend to be talking about it. But I mean, not really the way Nigerians would expect them to fight the issue of oil theft or vandals or those who are sabotaging on all of that, because we have said it over and over that this is one of, or this is the sector that brings to us the revenue we have. Any other sector is just crowing because we've not given it the needed attention like the rest. We can talk about agri every now and then, the fact that we've refused to do what we are supposed to. We're seeing solid minerals trying to see what they can do to meet up with all of this. We have so many minerals, I mean, whether solid, whether natural, we have minerals in Nigeria that we've refused to tap into it as well. So there's so much potential that we've refused to look into. But since we have chosen to look at oil, now I think the Senate are saying, you know what, we're sick and tired of this. Money keeps going and we don't have anything to show for it. Therefore, right now, anybody that is behind, and I hope that they mean this, that we'll see action. Because believe me, Rachel, if you are to ask me, I believe that the people behind it are people in Barbariga, people in lace, people in suits. That are the people who I think the Senate should go after. Not after people in the Niger Delta who feel that, I mean, the government is not giving them what they rightly deserve, therefore they will decide to steal it in little. Most times it's just in jerry cans, and then we say that because they have been stopped, and then or because they refuse to adhere to certain instruction, we hear that maybe there was a fire, blast or whatever. But then I think that the people that the Senate should be after, people who are really, really cooperatives. Those are what I think the government should be after.
I know the Senate is coming from the position regarding the recent, feud between Dangote, his refinery, NNPCL, and then the RMDPRA, and coming out to say that, you know what, this is our stand. We are also going to make sure that we fight sabotage, because the allegation from Dangote is that the IOCs are trying to sabotage his oil supply, not only the supply but also the quality of the fuel, of the crude oil that he receives, and all of that. So when you look at it, it's all a jeopardy for the oil sector in all. And then, Sarah, I would like to say that until I see one oil thief being apprehended, probed, and sentenced, that is when I will believe that the Senate have the capacity to fight the problems in the oil sector. Just as you rightly mentioned, we have theft being done in vessels, not in jerry can, in vessels, Sele. That kind of theft cannot go undetected unless someone turns a blind eye. It cannot go undetected. It's not the kind of theft that happen at night. It's not a kind of theft that happened at night. It's a kind of theft that happens all through the day, because this vessel needs to come. This vessel needs to be filled up, and these vessels leave. And it doesn't travel one sea. It's from one continent to another. Exactly. It is not a one day. It's not a burglary theft that someone will come maybe when you go to work, take your refrigerator, your generator, your television, and move. It's not that kind of theft we are talking about. We are talking about theft of billions and billions of naira, amounting to billions of dollars over the years. And you tell me that your investigative skills, with all the power, the information, no one thief, oil thief, can answer to the theft that has been going on. Until then, I don't think that the Senate, even if they have the capacity, are ready to fight oil sabotage. Because look, this thing is very deep. When we see the information that falls on the paper every day that we do the review, we are seeing how, for example, the Dangote refinery is a threat to more than 19 refineries that could go out of business once this refinery becomes fully functional. Sure. And recently, all of a sudden, a huge, gigantic importation of fuel from Malta of over $2.1 billion took place, and therefore raising the question: does the GCEO of NNPC Mele Kyari have a refinery in Malta? There. Because what is with the certain importation of a large quantity of crude oil with that amount into the country and all of that? So you can't help but wonder, and we've been seeing CSOs telling the federal government to make sure that Dangote refinery prosper. Because imagine if a refinery stands as a threat to over 19 refineries, what will it mean for our economy? What will it mean for oil production in the country? It means huge. So not only are you going to fight saboteur, but you should also make sure that nothing happens to Dangote refinery. You can start from there. You have to make sure that oil production thrives in the country. It's not only about fishing, who is trying to truncate whatever is going on, but also working towards making the environment profitable, conducive, exactly, Sele, for oil production in Nigeria on our source and all of that. There's so much work, and until the Senate proves otherwise, we just have to wait and see. I am waiting for an oil thief to be brought to book. Then we can say, you know what, we will move forward. Because when NDLEA is out there, we see many drug barons busted. So we can at least say the NDLEA means business. But what about the Nigerian government, with all the investigation, with all the things you're doing concerning oil theft? No one thief has been able to answer for theft in the country. Then it means work is not being done yet. Until we find a culprit, I don't think anything is being done yet. Until we get to that position, I believe we still have a long way to go.
You know, if you have to ask any Nigerian out there, it looks more like the Senate decided to speak so that it doesn't seem that they're just quiet about what is happening between Dangote and the NNPCL, because we know it's more like it's a Nigerian oil, so it's the government as far as we're concerned. In as much as it looks somehow privatized, but then it's still the government that operates that. And we've been seeing a number of times people have been calling for sack of Kyari, in fact, including the boss of the NNPCR. We saw where in 2022 they were called that he should be sacked, because people tend not to understand what is happening in that sector.
Yes.
We're supposed to be moving forward. It seems as if every year we record our quota going down, and we just cannot understand. Is it that somebody somewhere is just happy that we just run at a loss in this country? It's a question you just cannot help but comprehend. If not, why would you allow a particular refinery that is trying its best to make sure that, you know what, we can actually associate and people can call on him? I remember when you and I one time were talking about when we come to talk about oil producing country, we shouldn't even mention ourselves. Because we are nowhere compared with other nations. So we should say we are a oil, I don't know the right word to use right now, trying to produce or producing presently, because we are not yet up to those other giants. Exactly, we're not up to those giants. But then, since we are an oil producing country, why don't we just, you know, forget about selfish behavior, selfish act, because that was the reason why they stopped paying the issue of the fuel subsidy, because certain people were benefiting from it. And I believe that the reason why the president said that, he had a good motive, saying the fact that, you know what, we need to get our act together. Let us see how can we work to make sure that our refinery here is working. But Dangote is producing. You won't allow Dangote to produce it. We have the allegations coming so far. They need to test his diesel. His diesel is not really, adulterated, back forward accusation, and you just cannot understand what really is the problem. So just like you said, all of this, anyway, to some extent, I'm happy that this is coming, because it will give the government to sit up and really probe certain things that are happening, certain loopholes that seems as if the government is not. Right now, we see Kyari being, probed. Let's be sure. Do you have a refinery outside this country?
Where we saw Wale Doom stating that fuel subsidy has been technically done. And you wonder what is technically, maybe mechanical and all of that. We've seen all of that English from our leaders concerning fuel subsidy.
So I just hope that we don't get confused with the use of that English word, but they should come out and explain to the layman and let us understand, are we still paying fuel subsidy or not? Marketers are complaining. How much is landing price? How much are we buying? Something seems not to be sitting right. But let's just keep our fingers crossed and see how this whole probe will be, and let us trust our Senate that maybe, just maybe, this time around the mean business by actually putting behind bars those who are sabotaging the oil sector. Thank you so much, Rachel, for doing this with me. And as well, thank you to our viewers and every other person that made this program a success. Please do remember to be safe and have a blessed weekend ahead.